these without it going to the GA. So you need to think if you want to amend it to propose this motion to the GA so that the all of the okay, you've changed it now, but just to clarify, I think.
Thank you. Direct comment. Daniel. I made the change amendment, so I don't know if it's okay. The floor is now open for discussion. New comments. Tamsa Tanzania.
Suicide Taps Tanzania, since chair for this. I'm supporting that motion because for me to, like, let's say, I just be SEO of Taps Tanzania this year on January. So I just experienced my past SEO doesn't, when I contact him, he wasn't there. When I asked for email, he wasn't responding. If we try to contact, those about SEP database, all those stuffs, as SEO, if you don't have SEP database, you are nothing, and you're just there like you have a position without a mandate. Understand? So I support this motion because it will assist and will make easy for next SEOs and next XP to continue what someone is already starting.
Thank you very much, Sud Said, Tamsa Tanzania, for your new comments. Mr. Joseph Sefam Bia Burkina Faso, you have the floor for your new comment.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Sefam Bia Burkina Faso. My new comment is just to encourage this motion because I think it's very important and will help much AfRO. So thank you.
So that was a direct comment. Sir Kenya, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. A question? Are there extensions allowed or consequences if deadlines are missed?
So, this motion's enforced. No extensions can be given based on the discretion of the regional relations officer or the regional secretary. But then the consequences are to factor into the awards or guidelines for awards like best member organization, best project, best CPSU, so those are the consequences. New comments, Sefam BF, PSF GH Ghana, new comments.
Template will be provided for this submission, given that some CPs may consider the official emails as the only digital assets and forget about the CP forum and other digital assets. So I would recommend that the digital assets be defined.
So, Kevin, on behalf of RWG. Yes, a template will be provided for such an communicator at the beginning of the mandate to be one of them to be included in the CP, excellent CP toolkit, the SU starter packs that we have as a regional office. Point of order, Daniel.
Daniel Motions Committee has a point of order for the room because I've seen it a few times. When you're representing your MOs, you shouldn't use the term I because you're representing your association. So just make sure you don't say I think, I believe, but you say we believe, or you say, for example, his Zambia believes, for example. So make sure you're referring to your organization rather than your personal belief. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the point of order. New comments by AP Mali Mali.
Thank you for the floor. Kadi AP Mali Mali. I would like to speak in French. Donc ma question c'était que j'ai un problème avec cette motion. Ça demande à ce que moi en tant que SEO, je fasse un drive avec tout ce que j'ai fait ainsi que des documents. Maintenant, en tant que SEO, la plupart de notre travail c'est sur les réseaux sociaux et les webinaires et les collaborations qu'on fait. Et la plupart c'est sur les réseaux sociaux. Maintenant, qu'est-ce que concrètement je vais mettre dans le drive puisque nos réseaux sociaux, on a déjà créé des réseaux sociaux, il y a la relation qui nous aide à créer des réseaux sociaux où on partage les choses. Et également les documents, quelle sorte de documents on veut que je mette dedans puisque la relation aussi a des documents et elle a une commission en place qui aide et forme également les SEO à leur travail. Je suis d'accord que je devrais faire des réunions avec eux pour leur expliquer comment marche notre organisation, mais que je fasse un drive et mettre des documents ou ce que j'ai fait, c'est ce qui me dérange un peu dans la motion là. Merci. Thank you.
Translation by Lily.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. So, Ms. Nati wished to know regarding SEOs, their case is, from what she says, their case is a bit different since most of their works are already on social media. So she wishes to know how she's going to classify that work into a document. And she acknowledges that yes, the handover meetings are important, but she just wishes to know how she go about with the drive and the documentation of our works that are already on social media. Thank you.
So I'll give the floor to Ms. Lily for her response.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Ms. Kathy, I believe sometimes when you do calls via the CP forum or even via mail as you guys do now, via mail, sorry, not the CP forum, you usually give call documents, release call documents and all that. So it is also important to document those things. The little things they really matter. Even your mail, you can even, I think I and the incoming secretary work together to establish a handover template. Maybe you tailor it for both CP and SEO, but in such a way that you can even provide like links to resources that can help the person to jumpstart their SEO journey. Thank you.
Direct comment, pure point of order.
Daniel Motions Committee, very fast one again for the room. When you speak, make sure to say your name and your position or your name and your MO before you say your point, so when they're minuting, they know who's speaking. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that point of order. Direct comment from IPSF Ghana.
Direct comment. President PSF Ghana. On behalf of PSF Ghana, I'd like to recommend that as part of the institutional working drive that is required to be submitted by the CPs and SUs, they included more so that the new CPs would have an idea of how to go about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that suggestion. IPSF Kenya, you have a direct. You have the floor for a direct.
Thank you, Chair. Tiffany Njeri, IPSF Kenya. My points have already been said for both my direct and my new comments. Yes, so I'd like them to be dropped. Thank you.
Thank you. So, I don't see any new comments. So this is the 15th. So I'll close the floor for discussion now. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly mandates all contact persons and student exchange officers of IPSF AfRO to conduct at least 2 official handover sessions, implement a shared institutional work drive if one does not exist, and compile a signed handover report confirming the full transfer of ownership of all official emails and digital assets to be submitted to the Regional Relations Officer and the Regional Secretary at most 1 month after the new individual officially assumes functions. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assemblies. So all those against the motion, all those abstaining, this motion is carried unanimously. Motion 28. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly mandates the regional office to organize and execute projects in line with the position paper written in the previous mandate. This shall be achieved immediately. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assemblies. So this is a motion being proposed by the RWG. So like I mentioned during the policy discussion session, the policy position papers are meant to guide the work of the next mandate. And so projects need to be organized in line with this project. So for this mandate, the approved position paper was on falsified medicines and substandard medicines. And so the next mandate will have to organize projects in line with this, be it physical campaigns, online campaigns, and what have you. So please. So that's the motivation for this motion. The floor is now open for discussion. So technical, Mr. Daniel McDonald, Motions Committee.
Daniel Motions Committee. So right now, I'm also a policy coordinator, so I know a lot of those. You say like with the position paper, so position paper is what the MOs write, the regions write, regional resolutions. So maybe you mean in line with the regional resolution rather than the position paper, because normally the regions don't write position papers, they write regional resolutions based on the position papers that the CP submits. So I think you mean in line with the regional resolution. Thank you. So maybe regional resolution should replace position paper.
Through the IPSF President Motion Committee, I would like to provide information that currently there's an existing motion investigating, there's an existing motion mandating promotion and advocacy of adopted IPSF policy topics carried at the 69th IPSF General Assembly held during the IPSF World Congress 2023 in Indonesia. So if I may bring it here, just give me a second. Here, so this is actually the wording. I do see some similarity because this mandates the IPSF Executive Committee and the IPSF Regional Working Groups to initiate a campaign aimed at actively promoting and advocating for the policy topic outlined in the recently adopted IPSF Global Declaration and IPSF Regional Resolution. The campaign may encompass activities such as social media and or public health initiative. This motion shall be achieved continuously. Because of that, I would like to propose the regional working group, as this has already been mandated for the RWG. If this could also be an opportunity for you to mandate the regional offices, in particular the member organization within the region, and therefore this will be applicable by both the regional office as initiated by RWG and the member organization to follow the projects under the regional resolution and global declaration. Thank you.
The motion has been amended by the RWG. After discussion. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly mandates the regional office and the member organizations to organize and execute projects in line with the regional resolution written in the previous mandate. This shall be achieved immediately. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly. So this is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, mandates IPSF AfRO member organizations to organize and execute projects in line with the regional resolution written in the previous mandate. This shall be achieved immediately. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assemblies. So, the floor for discussion is closed. We proceed to voting. All those against the motion? All those abstaining? The motion is carried unanimously. Motion 29. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly. Mandates the regional office to release the official call for the regional essay competition during the phase 1 registration period. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assemblies. So the motivation for this motion is to enable or give more time to the winners of the symposium to prepare for their for their scholarships or grants, more time to prepare for their flights. It's also to give the RWG more time to also review the essays so that the winner can be chosen ahead of time. So that's the motivation for the motion. The floor is open for discussion.
C'est la 15e Assemblée régionale de la IPSF demande ce que le bureau régional n'a qu'à lancer n'a qu'à lancer l'appel pour les grandes les bourses durant la phase 1 pour que le gagnant puisse avoir le temps de se préparer et lorsqu'il sera gagnant pour préparer son vol que de le lancer dans la phase 2.
Thank you. So the floor is open for discussion. I see no new comments. Proceed to voting. All those against? All those abstaining? Motion is carried unanimously. We have a few more, just a few, and then we'll be done. So motion 30, this is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, mandates the regional office to update the AfRO history book every 2 mandates with an interim progress report submitted to the CPs 2 months prior to the first regional assembly of the updated mandate. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assemblies. So the motivation behind this motion, the AfRO history book is a very important tool to help us as a regional office know where we are coming from and where we are going. So it contains information about the member organizations as well in this book. And for over 3-4 years now, we've not released the history book. So it's this mandate that hopefully before the end of the mandate we'll release the history book. So we are making a proposal to the RA so that we can update, so that the regional office will update the history book every 2 mandates. And the mandate, the RA before the mandate, they have to produce the history book. They need to provide a progress report of it to the RA. So this is a motion proposed by Albert Yuji. The motion, the floor is open for discussion.
Donc la 15e assemblée régionale de la IPSF propose que chaque 2 mandats, il faudrait mettre à jour le livre d'histoire de la IPSF. Et ceci dans le fait que de mettre à jour le livre d'histoire de la IPSF par rapport au progrès des rapports des CP et des SEO. Et ceci, c'est pour éviter. Ça fait déjà longtemps qu'on ne met plus à jour le livre d'histoire de l'AfRO. Donc, parce que si Dieu le veut, on va mettre à jour avant la fin de ce mandat. Donc, on aimerait qu'après nous, chaque 2 mandats, les gens puissent mettre à jour l'histoire, le livre d'histoire de l'AfRO. Donc, voilà la motivation pour laquelle on propose cette motion. Merci.
So the floor is open for discussion. I see no new comments. I see no new comments. I'm closing the floor for discussion. New comments. Subset Tanzania.
So say Tanzania, I would like to propose or to give advice to RWG that it should be at least 3 to 4 years, because I think after every 2 years it will be like a same context, same symposiums. Each, I think we cannot see the difference. Everything will be similar. At least 3 to 4 years will be the best. So you can put like a strong and good history of Afro. So instead of 2 years, so people can do copy and paste.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, Samuel and WG. So I want also to agree with this delegate from Tanzania that a 2 years period is not a very good period enough to capture good history we want to put in the Afro history book, because as the name says, it is the Afro history book. So that is to mean you have to put their history, not their like articles or be like an Afro corner. So I propose that we could go for a period of at least 3 years, so that we could include at least the latest achievements that we've been able to do, as well as the numbers of the impact that we have been able to do. But 2 years, I don't feel like it's a comfortable period of time to include in the history. Thank you.
Thank you for the floor, Chair. I'm sure there's a President Motion Committee, and I'd like to provide a point of information that in the European Regional Office, they updated their history book every single RA. So every year that the RWG add information and to be accepted and adopted by the Regional Assembly. Thank you.
New comment, Israel.
Yaro Israel, IPSF AfRO RA. I just want to explain that in the IPSF AfRO history book is not only about the symposium or TDC or LIT. Also, all the projects our AMOs will be carrying out will also include that in IPSF AfRO history book. And we believe that every 2 Mondays is interesting because that would be enough for us to have a lot of content to put in IPSF AfRO history book. Thank you.
Thank you. New comments, Fatoto. Fatoto. Bon, moi j'aimerais savoir pourquoi on demande à ce que le historique soit de chaque ministère. Moi je trouve ça trop long. Chaque année, pourquoi pas? Bon, je suppose que je viens de rentrer dans l'IPSF cette année. Je vais voir l'historique. Attends un an d'abord avant de voir l'historique. Pourquoi? Translation.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. So the delegate from IPSF wishes to know why should we wait for 2 years? He feels like 2 years is too long. If you are just from joining, he supposes that if he's a new person, if he's new to IPSF, 2 years is too long. Like, why not do it every year? That is his question. Thank you.
Thank you for your. So direct. I agree with what you're saying. Every year is. I think 2 years is enough for us to complete the history book. So, new comments? Answer your Nigeria. Vote for a new one.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Also, Walter Kanga from Sanyo Liberia. I'd like to support the 2 years. It's history we're talking about. First of all, I don't know whether the history are documented or is passed on orally. So I feel like if we wait for too long, there might be inaccuracy or maybe there might be lots of documents, or that there are some that are undocumented. Maybe some of those people might not be around or might not be reachable. So I think every 2 years we can update our issue. So it also helps us to have a current, updated history. Thank you.
New comments, Dr. Tanzania.
I would like to add more comment on that because in every mandate of WG there is a 2 edition of AfRO RA that it has concluded projects, articles, each and everything. So within 2 weeks, within 2 years, I think it cannot work because in every mandate they will be having AfRO corners that conclude each and everything. And for now, if I'm not mistaken, there is a pending of AfRO history book for like part 3 mandates, if I'm not mistaken. So can I get clarification on that? If there is AfRO history book for the past 3 mandates, if it was there, I need to know when it's been published. Yeah.
So, I give the floor to Ms. Lily for direct.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Lily Marriott, Regional Secretary. So, I wish to just ask the delegate from Tanzania, since how long has the AfRO corner not been released in AfRO? Because if we are to compare like the weight, I feel the AfRO history book should have more weight than the AfRO corner. Maybe the content should maybe be different because Afro history is more about history, and maybe like the Afro corner will give you more like updates on what the pharmacy world is about, and with some miscellaneous like what member organizations are doing at the moment. But I think the content of the Afro history book and Afro corner should be slightly different. They should not be the same. Thank you.
Thank you for your direction, Ms. Ruby. Your comment, Aifato?
Maïté Claver, Alpha Togo. S'il vous plaît, j'aimerais savoir, dans un premier temps, en quoi concerne l'historique. Ça touche quel le nombre de points que ça touche et qui fait l'historique? Qui sera chargé de le faire?
So we would like to know.
Israel, you have the floor for translation.
Israel, your own IPSF AfRO RA. So I would like to know. He would like to know if we can explain him what is about the IPSF AfRO history, and also who will be in charge of that. Thank you.
Okay. So for that history book, Sano has a new comment for the
Thank you, Chair. Somewhere at WG. First of all, I don't know if you would like to answer the question from Ifat Toko before I bring my new comment.
The history book contains profiles. So member organizations are profiled in the history book. Symposium activities, projects, and all that are all showcased in the history book. LIT, everything is showcased in the history book. So it's very important for us to be updated. Otherwise, the tendencies of losing or missing out on information. Alright, because let's say last year we had 5 new members. If this year we have 4 new members approved, and we are going to wait for 3 years. So that means if we manage to release it this mandate, it means we are going to wait till 2029 before we update and include the new members we have gotten in the history book. And what about next year if we get on more members? We get it. So it's very important for us to update the issue at least every 2 years. So Sano, you have the floor for your new comment. So who will be in charge? Okay, so the RMPO and the regional secretary facilitate the updates of the history book. Okay, direct from Claver.
Maïté Claver, Alpha Togo. Ça veut dire qu'il y aura, disons, un exécutif d'une année qui aura plus de travail qu'un autre. Si on choisit 2 ans, 2 ans. C'est ce qu'on peut se dire.
So you have the floor for translation.
They are all IPSF AfRO RA. So if you are going to do it every 2 mandates, that means there is 1 mandate, the RP will have less work to do.
So to respond to that, I ideally that's not what should be the situation, because the RMPU also needs to submit a report of the progress he has made in his mandate. So if we are to approve this motion, next year in Zambia, the RMPU has to provide a progress report on the history book. Okay? And then next 2 years in 2028, we'll publish the history book, the final one. So first of all, you have a history book this mandate, you will see how it is. And then next mandate, the RMPO needs to share updates on the progress they have made on the history book. What other information have they added to the history book? So it's going to be one of the motions, and it needs to be accepted by the regional assembly. And then in 2028, the history book will be ready for publishing. So every RMPO will have to make sure that they've done some considerable amount of work on the history at the end of, because they will have to account at the end of every mandate, so that it's not left as one of, maybe not of being great importance, because the history book is very important. Okay, so Eden's new comments, motions committee.
Mine was first.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Eden's motions committee. Actually, my comment has already been responded by the others based on the fact that a 2-year gap for me was too much in such a way that you find inconsistency in the result. That means some mandates will be some bureaus during the regional working group for a particular year might not work as much, and I wanted to get a clarification for what you said. You said that every 2 years, the 2-year period, is it for the updating of the Afro history book, or is it for the publication? Because when you said the 2 years, I thought that the book was to be updated every 2 years. But if I understood what you said clearly, is that the book is supposed to be updated every year, but published after 2 years. I don't know whether that's. Thank you.
So the updates will be done, the complete updates will be done after 2 years. But to ensure that we don't leave gaps or overburdening that RMPU going to who will be responsible for showcasing the history book after the 2 mandates stipulated, then the RMPU in between or within needs to ensure that some work is done on it. But the full updates will be after the 2 mandates. Procedural motion, Moses.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Moses, for the Manga Counter, your procedural motion
Maroon. All those against? Motion is carried unanimously. So we proceed to voting. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly mandates the regional office to update the Afro history book every 2 mandates with an interim progress report submitted to the CPs 2 months prior to the first regional assembly of the updating mandate. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assemblies. All those against the motion? All those abstaining? Motion carried unanimously. Motion 31. proposed by RWG. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly mandates the regional working group to maintain and enforce the submission of monthly progress reports from all subcommittees. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by the future IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly. So the motivation for this motion is that during this mandate, we started something where subcommittee members have to submit monthly reports of what they are doing in the subcommittee to keep them on their toes. And because there was no motion in force, some subcommittees members did not comply with the directive given. And so we wanted to be in the motions and force as a binding so that they would submit their monthly reports, progress reports, every month by virtue of them being on the subcommittee. So that's the motivation for this motion. So the floor is open for discussion. I see no new comments. I see no new comment.
The 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly mandates the regional working group to maintain and enforce the submission of monthly progress reports from all regional subcommittee members. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by the future IPSF AfRO Regional Assemblies. Thank you. So the motion has been amended and read again. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly mandates the regional working group to maintain and enforce the submission of monthly progress reports from all IPSF AfRO regional subcommittee members. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO regional assemblies. So the floor is closed for discussion. And we proceed to vote. All those against, all those abstaining, motion carried unanimously. Motion 32. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly mandates the regional office to establish the PAD drive as a continuous initiative to be conducted annually from October to May. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by the 17th. Once achieved, this motion shall be reviewed by the 17th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly. So I'll give the floor to
Suzanne for her motivation.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Suzanne, Regional Project Officer. To support this motion, and as mentioned in my annual report, since each MO has their own annual plan, it's important to start the project from the beginning of the mandate in order to give each member organization time to include it into the annual plan, and are able to have majority of the member organization participating in the regional initiative.
Thank you for that. The floor is open for discussion. Any new comments? I see no new comments. We proceed to voting. All those against? All those abstaining? Motion carried unanimously. Motion 33, proposed by RWD. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, mandates that subcommittee members who fail to submit two consecutive monthly reports or 4 monthly reports within 1 year without justified reason shall be dismissed from the subcommittee. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly.
Israël, IPSF AfRO RA. Ceci est la 15e assise régionale qui demande à ce que les membres des sous-commissions qui n'ont pas pu soumettre 2 rapports mensuels de manière consécutive ou n'ont pas pu soumettre 4 rapports mensuels dans le mois, ce soit relevé dans l'année, soit relevés de leurs fonctions. Et ceci, une fois que ne doit pas être revu jusqu'à la prochaine assemblée régionale.
Thank you for the translation. The floor is open for discussion. Any new comment? I see none. All those against? All those abstaining? Motion carried unanimously. Motion 34, proposed by RWG. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, mandates subcommittee coordinators to submit annual reports. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assemblies. So the motivation behind this motion is that in the other global offices, they have subcommittee coordinators, and these subcommittee coordinators submit annual reports to be approved during their regional assemblies. But in IPSF AfRO, we don't have something like that, and these coordinators are the face of the subunits within the subcommittees. And so it's very imperative that they submit annual reports for consideration by the regional assembly so that we can have a full picture documentation of what they did within their subgroups. So that's the motivation for this motion. The floor is open for discussion. Any new comments? I see no new comments. All those who proceed to voting. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, mandates IPSF AfRO subcommittee coordinators to submit annual reports. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assemblies. All those against? All those abstaining? Motion carried unanimously. Motion 35. So this we have to. So proposed by RWG. This, the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, mandates the AFPS Reception Committee to extend the regional symposium by 1 to 2 days. This shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed by future IPSF AfRO Regional Assemblies. So the motivation behind this motion is that we've realized that for some time now, we've just had 5 days for our regional symposium, and as a result, we need to also do the regional assembly and then make decisions for the future of the regional office. And it keeps most of the ODs away from the other aspects of the symposium. And it's because the hosting organization has been keeping it within 4 days, 5 days, comparing to other regions. Other regions are doing 6, 7 days of regional symposium, having longer days for regional assembly. They are able to deliberate well and deep into the motions and then contribute greatly to the decisions that are made there. But for us, we have short time, and considering the fact that even we can't have regional assembly on the Thursdays and other things, and the complaints from the speakers, workshops, panelists, we believe that it's become very important to extend the number of them days. So now if we have 5, we are going to have 7 days, or 6 or 7 days, so that we can have maybe even the Thursday participants to cooperate fully in the workshops and other things, and then they can come in, you can start area on day 2 or something, even allowing people to attend some panel discussions before coming to the area and all that. So that's the motivation for this motion. So I'll open the floor for discussion. New comment? Point of information. So, Mr. Israel will add on to the motivation for this proposal.
Israel Yaro, IPSF AfRO RA. So, the AFPS we have in Ghana, it was 6 days, if I do remember. So I was also official delegate, and I attended a lot of workshops, and at the same time I attended the regional assembly. So compared to the other previous symposium I attended, we didn't get time to do a lot of things. So I believe that this motion will also help all the official delegates to attend the workshop, to attend the regional assembly, and to enjoy the symposium. So, thank you.
Point of information, Mr. Daniel McDonald.
Daniel motions committee. So to give a point of information, you mentioned that the other regional, or some of the other regional offices have longer symposia. So I just want to clarify that because I think it's important that everyone knows the regional context. So for, of course, AFPS this year is 19th to 26th of July, so that would be 6 days in total. APPS is 7th to 13th of July, so that again would be 7 days for APPS, so that's Asia Pacific. EMPS is 11th to 16th, so that would be 6 days, so same as AFPS right now. Euro is 7 to 11, so 5 days, so 1 day less than AfRO right now. And then the PARS is online, so they're still confirming the days because they have a bit of flexibility with it being online. So to clarify, there are some regions that have less time, there are some regions that are the same. Only in April there is 1 additional day. So if that gives you some context of the other regions, I hope that's helpful. Thank you.
New comments, if I'm here, Burkina Faso.
Chair, this is Asif from Burkina Faso. We firstly appreciate the proposition, but this proposition has come with a lot of issue, especially regarding the finance point. We are in Africa, most of the time we know that our MOs are not coming due to the price or the cost of participation. So this updating day that you are adding could increase the price of the participation in the AfRO, and then we are really sure that it will block a lot of our members to participate. So I don't know if during the proposition we talked about it, and if you are providing solution. Yes, regarding this. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Please clarify your question.
Oui, donc ma question c'était de savoir si est-ce que vous avez pensé à l'aspect financier en proposant cette motion, et si oui, qu'est-ce que vous proposez justement concernant l'aspect financier.
Israel, IPSF AfRO RA. So the question of Burkina Faso Burkina Faso desire was if we extend 1 day or 2 days, that mean we will increase. Is that mean will we increase the price, the fees of the registration? If yes or no, anyway, it was the question. Okay, if we think about that before,
So yes, this it has its merits and demerits, like I said. So the merits outweigh the demerits. What I mean is that the merits are that you get to engage in the other events rather than just to enjoy the symposium to the max. Because I know we have people who may have flights tomorrow evening or even on the morning of the 25th, because Ari, okay, so people have not really benefited from the symposium. I personally I've been attending the regional symposium since 2023, and I've not really been able to participate in the sessions because of the regional assembly. So these are the merits of it, but the demerits may be that they come at an extra cost. But mind you, the reception committee is also permitted to increase the current fee in line with the official documents based on the number of nights that they are currently given. So if motions committee can help me with the allowable charge per night, I would appreciate it. So point of information, motions committee.
So, Daniel, motions committee. So to clarify the official documents, the maximum cost that you can charge per night is €66 per night in the first phase. So if there was an additional 1 day, then the RC could add an extra €66 maximum to the participation fee. If it was an additional 2 days, the RC has the potential, it doesn't have to occur, but if there's extra days, it's extra accommodation, it's extra food, it's extra resources, so likely there will need to be an increase in the fee somewhere, unless they can cover this in sponsorships, but yeah, it would be up to that, so 66 times 2, which I think is 132. So in theory, if it was 2 additional days, then the fee could be €132 more than what it currently is. Thank you.
Okay, just to add on to that, so currently as it stands, usually phase 1 is $260. So even as it stands, the RC can decide to still increase the fee within the given the official documents of €66 per night. So they can still do that. So I don't think increasing they really have direct impact on the fee. So there's a direct from Sefambia from Nafaso, but I want to let the floor know that based on the foregoing discussion, the RWG would want to amend this motion.
Thank you, Chair. Before this answer from the so, I think adding those 2 days would be this week before.
Motion 35. The 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly mandates the IPSF AfRO Regional Working Group 2026-2027 to investigate the feasibility of organizing future IPSF African Regional Symposia over a total duration of 7 days, including the official arrival and departure dates. The outcome of this investigation shall be shared with CPs by 31st March 2027 and will be discussed during the 16th IPSF African Regional Assembly. Should the investigation conclude that a 7-day regional symposia is feasible, a call for the host of the 15th IPSF African Pharmaceutical Symposium. Technical. Okay. So, Dr. BG proposes to drop this motion.
Israel IPSF AfRO RA. On laisse tomber la motion, ça passe.
Motion 36, strategic plan. This is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the AfRO appendix of the strategic plan. This shall be achieved continuously once we achieve. This motion shall be reviewed by the So this shall be achieved continuously. Once achieved, this motion shall be reviewed by the 18th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly. So the motivation for this is that IPSF has a strategic plan, and as a regional office, we also prepared an annex to the global strategic plan. So the strategic plan basically contains KPIs and objectives for the portfolios in the regional working group to help them or guide them in their work. So anything that we are doing, they should be doing it in line with the strategic plan. So the strategic plan has been prepared, and we are proposing a motion. It has been shared also. So we are proposing a motion for its acceptance. So this is the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional. So the floor is open for discussion.
Ceci est la 15e assise de Yahweh Israël IPSF AfRO RA. Ceci est la 15e assise de l'Assemblée régionale. Accepte et adopte le plan stratégique de l'IPSF. Et ceci doit être ceci une fois accepté devrait être révisé le 18e, lors de la 18e assise de l'IPSF. Et la motivation derrière, c'est que nous préparons un document, un plan stratégique. Dans le plan stratégique, nous parlons des différents portefeuilles. Et dans ces différents portefeuilles, ça couvre généralement 3 ans. Donc, les chargés des relations des différents postes doivent travailler par rapport à ce qui se trouve dans le document. Et il y a les indicateurs clés de performance pour savoir si le travail effectué est en concordance avec ce qui est dans le document. Donc voilà la raison pour laquelle nous l'avons proposé. Merci.
Thank you. So motion 36. Discussion. See no new comments. Proceed to vote. All those against. All those abstaining. Motion carried unanimously.
think sometimes
This is a motion tabled in the AOB. This is a motion tabled in the AOB. So consider the resignation. Report of Mr. Chico Kosa. So Mr. Chico resigned in June this year, and he submitted his resignation report in line with IPSF's official documents. And so it's in the Google Drive for you. He outlined all that he has been able to do and all that. So we want this assembly to consider accept and adopt his resignation reports. So this is the 15 IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly. Accept and adopt the resignation report of Mr. Chico Kosa, IPSF AfRO Regional Media Communications Officer. The floor is now open for discussion. I see no new comments. We proceed to voting. All those against, all those abstain. Motion carried unanimously. Mr. Chico Kosa's resignation report has been accepted and adopted. Okay. Before we close the assembly, I just want to appreciate IPSF AfRO for the support shown me during my mandate as chairperson of the regional office. I rose through the ranks from official delegate like yourselves, and then I became RO, served in subcommittees, became RO, and then chairperson of the regional office, and today chairing the 15th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly. It's been a great honor and a great pleasure serving you, even as our regional symposium celebrates its 15th anniversary next year in Zambia. The host of the 16th AFPS for 2028. Please remember that the candidate whose nomination wasn't considered yesterday is still eligible and can thus apply. So after we get the nominees, we will set up the dates. We'll have a Q&A for both nominees, and then a voting by correspondence for you to select the next host of the AFPS in Zambia. So please, if you are not a CP or something, you have to be in the session tomorrow because your names were submitted as official delegates. So please do also communicate this notice to your CPs. If your member organization is still interested in applying, there's another opportunity for you to send in your bid.
As you are closing the regional assembly, all motions have already been completed. As the election of the 16 AFPS was agreed upon to be voted by correspondent. If you have Q&A session, there's no need of all the full members with the official delegates for this time to be present. Anyone can be present, including those who were not present here as well. By all means, if they're not there with quorum, what you need to do is to send the vote through Bolotivo, and they have to submit the vote via the anonymous form within 3 days. The only concern is that the vote has to also be with quorum. If there's no quorum, you have to reopen the vote again. And it has to be the recognized email and the CP that vote for the 16 AFPS. There's no next thing. Yes. But if I could add one more thing, regarding the motion that was lying on the table. Because you're closing this, you can't reopen just that one motion. You have to reopen the regional assembly to reopen the motion that was lying on the table again with the abstention over the number of the against or accepted. And therefore, just would like to inform the assembly that you also have the decision to not close the R8 today if you want to. But if you do not want to, anything that was discussed can be proposed to be voted by correspondent in the future. Thank you.
So I want to assess the floor before we officially close the IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly. Any comments? Okay, no new comments. Procedural motion.
Mastery Motion Committee, IPSF President, Boss, we have a motion for you. The 15 IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly would like to propose for our chair, the chair of the assembly to dance with us. So if you could you turn on the can I have the seconder? Seconded by GPP Gala? And are those for him to dance? And everyone stands? Okay, unanimously. Let's do it.
It was voted. Yes.
Kevin.
RA, and that RA would consist of then this agenda point. Other options you have is right now you can propose that you don't close the RA, but that you suspend the standing orders, and then we will reopen the standing orders during an online session. So during that, then the RWG will have some time to discuss when this online RA will happen, and the agenda will be anything that is laid on the table. So typically that is the option that people have gone for in the past, where you just suspend, and then even if it's one agenda point, just